since I've been in it. Put me in the debate, you know I'm gon' win it. If I scream black power, don't get timid. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. Primary research and we done pushed it to the limits. All you dudes finished. The king counting cattle up with brother Reggie. When I'm in Oakland, smoking, bro, they love the Chevy. Back in the day, it was the spokes on the chariot. Long procession when the king got carried out to every spot. Woman looking nice as ISIS. I read ancient texts on my devices. Priceless, Nubian gold. Your ice don't entice us. Beating me harder than counting grains in your spices. Your heart was beating, but your brain dead. You're lifeless. Yo, they ain't nothing like us, yo. Don't try to make me mad. Make me smile and say you love me, man. That's real right there. Yeah, come on. You should listen to your main man's advice. Do a YouTube and apologize like Dice. Or the back fade coming like the Antichrist. Egyptologists sent me reading and said that I'm nice. I got a speller with your name on it. I'm like Sargon. You the type of dude wake up and your car gone. Told, because of the money you owe. Before you stream, you should clean up that humble abode. Like I'm not in city for my woman in gold. I keep the pseudos running, people coming in droves. You catch me on a live stream with Pan-African James. When we building, call us by our African names. And for the children, it ain't nothing happen to change. We on that black hype, so we still packing them things for protection. Got connects. My complexion, pure black, that's the S, that's the S.
What's up?
Show me some love. All right.
All right, enough with the nonsense. Time for some homework. Get right down to it. Matter of fact, before I set it off, y'all know I set it off with the videos. Let me see. But see if I can pull that good one up. I ain't really tripping. I'm going back to that standard video. How everybody doing? Hopefully you can click like on the video when you come in. Say what's up, leave a comment so we can get a good video popping. I just was gonna spend some of my Sunday studying, trying to freshen up on some Meta Nature so we can get it popping right after this.
A hierarchy of race like that developed by Morton Glidden and still deployed today by white supremacists cannot be sustained if not one but two great black civilizations arose in Africa at the dawn of history. It is therefore entirely appropriate and even necessary to confront constructions of race for Nubia and Egypt in the recent past and acknowledge both civilizations as African and black.
So did you face any of that type of backlash or harsh feedback from your stance on ancient Egypt?
So yes, but interestingly, I haven't received any harsh feedback from Egyptologists. When I go around and I give talks on this subject, the Egyptologists who've been in the audience of my talks are very receptive, and they think that this is really important work and that I need to keep forging ahead with it. But I have gotten negative feedback, especially over email from Egyptians. So it's an interesting conundrum where there are some Egyptians who will tell me, I mean, these are people I don't know who are just like finding out how to contact me and send me an email and say, what you're doing is wrong. The ancient Egyptian culture was not a black culture. Modern Egyptians are not black people. What you're doing is dangerous. You need to stop saying this, which of course, I'm not going to stop saying this. And I try to explain what my work is about. And I also try to explain, you see, our perspective in America on what black is different from a lot of the rest of the world. And so I try to explain our American context of that word. But yeah, I've definitely gotten some harsh feedback.
First off, the Egyptians, of course, were African, and we have evidence from Herodotus and other sources that Africans tended to be black, that they were a range of colors that would constitute black today. And they were actually, the Greek words that are used for them is black.
Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying that the ancient Egyptians were not black as we Americans perceive it. They were. The way we define black with mixed race one drop rule, the way we define black as a positive thing, the Egyptians were black.
So you're suggesting maybe these people migrated north?
Yes, or their culture did, and really east to the Nile Valley, east and north.
East and north.
Yeah,
I see. So today in Egypt, the archaeologists often refer to, and I've been there, to connections between ancient Egyptian culture and the Sumerian culture and the Crete culture and the Persian culture. Yet when you visit Egypt, especially around Aswan in the southern part of the Nile, you see mostly black people.
Yes, yeah, and we know from the anthropological evidence that the people just predating the dynastic civilization in the Nabta Playa region were black African people.
I can sympathize with the impulse to sort of to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because for the longest time, the very longest time, there was this prevailing idea that black is Africa and Africa is less than, right? That no matter what happens, no matter how you cast it, anytime you fall on the wrong side of that dividing line between black and not black, even not between black and white, whatever's coming from that black side is going to be less than. And it took people being willing to challenge that orthodoxy, and sometimes in a very ill-informed way, right? Sometimes, it just took people coming up and going, I feel like this, and so I'm going to say it and make it right. And it turns out they actually were in some ways, right? Because now we can look at Egypt and say, the ancient Egyptians are an African civilization. These are people that, by and large, we probably would have looked at and thought, oh, these are black people.
When it comes to the 25th dynasty, a lot of people are going to commonly call them the Black Pharaohs. You see it online, there's books written titled.
All right. What's up? So the book I'm working from today is J.E. Hoch, or Hotch, H-O-C-H-J, and you can pull that book up if you want to. It's Middle Egyptian Grammar. I just was about to work on a few things that I wanted to work on with my grammar, but then as I started looking on the book I thought it might be cool to go back to the beginning. Not the biggity beginning, but I do this all the time. Like, once you read the book through, I'll just start over. But I'm not gonna start from the beginning. Anyone who wants to learn this should probably find a teacher or one of those classes. But if you're already along and this is a place to hang out and you like participating in these workshops, shout out to you, right? So I've been, people have been telling me how small it is in this format. I can't do much about that. I'll try to just make it as big as I can so people can see. So this is just a section where he's simply showing you different directions you can read the glyphs from. Left to right, horizontal. Obviously, you see everything aiming that way. I'm going to just zoom through this so I can get to some vocabulary and a quick lesson. Right to left. Notice how all the birds and animals are aiming at the right. But see, notice how it's numbered too. When you get to stack glyphs, you have to know that Start at the top and then continue to go from right to left. Right to left vertical. And left to, I think he can show left to right vertical in there too, right? Right here. Anyway, I'm gonna skip past that and go straight down to something that we could probably try to grasp no matter how deep you are in the study, so check it out. It said a simple verbal sentence. Man, it's not that hard. Watch this. The simple verbal sentence are the statement of fact. When the speaker wishes to state something, presented it as fact, whether true or not, and whether the speaker held it to be true or not. The sentence particle you, I'm gonna make it bigger so cats can probably see that particle. So this is just, man, this is most elemental. This is why it's in the beginning of the book. A lot of people I read with don't even know this paragraph. So if you would observe this right here, it'll help you out when you start to learn the glyphs. So now I guess I can open JSAS. And that should assist with, man, why every time I'm trying to open it up, it be not there? Then I go J, it's open, okay. This could assist with me showing you the glyphs that way. So you looks like, oh man, I gotta remember the old way. Don't cap on me, cause see, don't cap on me because don't. All right, there we go. So let me make it big so everybody can peep game now. Now you ain't tripping off how small it is. This the glyphs we looking at you. So if I can move myself on Facebook, let me move myself over here. So what we're looking at is a reed leaf and a chick. The reed leaf in some transliteration schemes represents an I, others is a Y. In a German scheme, it's a J, but that J makes the sound of a Y anyway. So obviously we don't have a vowel here. We got a Y and a W. And scholars in Egyptological speak is pronounced U. Right? Okay, so this is the particle we're talking about. And it pop up so much in the glyphs that we need to understand and recognize it as just an elementary particle that will assist us in parsing sentences. So this U glyph, right? Now let's read up on it. It says the sentence particle U was employed as an indispensable element. All right? The particle always stands at the beginning of the sentence. So what does that tell you when you see this? You gotta think both directions. If the particle tells you it's the beginning of the ensuing sentence or the sentence that is to come, it's also telling you it's the end of the final sentence. I mean, of the sentence before that. But it's not included. If you was to put periods and stuff, your period would go before the U. And then you would be starting off a new sentence and letting people know that this new sentence is intended as a statement of fact, whether it's fact or not, right? So it says this particle always stands at the beginning of a sentence. And in the case of a verbal sentence, it is followed by the main verb of the sentence. So how easy is that? If you learn that part about the grammar, as soon as you see you, you know that it might quite possibly be a verb following that you. And then if you want to take it further, if we start to identify or learn or familiarize ourselves with these verb classes, you could possibly identify how the verb is being employed after that, how we always say sejum NF form or something like that. These are the tools that help you understand what they're talking about and not just be spot reading words and can't make a sentence. Right? So it's extremely important to note that the clause begun with you is always the main clause. All right? So the clause begin, if it begin, that's what I be saying sometimes, cat don't kill me. If you see that you is not a dependent clause on what they just said, they starting a new sentence, basically. So I can't, I was thinking of a good English example, but let me just continue. If there are subsequent clauses, verbal or non-verbal, there are subordinate or dependent clauses. This is after the you. So this is how you can find that, all right? So word order in Egyptian is very fixed. It's like English. The sequence cannot be broken or rearranged without either producing drastic changes in meaning, child bites dog, or else a confusable jumble of meaningless words. That's what we do sometimes in not translating right. Yesterday, my accident, mother is tragic, automobile had almost. Egyptian is, in fact, far more rigid in the word order and clause sequences than English. This will be important to keep in mind when dealing with long, complicated sentences. At this point, however, we're dealing with the sentence at its most basic. So we gotta go back and reel it in and go back to the most basic sentence and make sure we all grasp this. I like to think of the boxes or the chart or the table, but we'll show that here it comes right here. But, so this is the statement of fact after the you. The statement of facts sentence type may be simple, but it forms the basis of many other sentence types. It must be fully understood. The sequence of words must be committed to memory, all right? The particle you, the verbal predicate, the subject, and the final adverbs are adverbal phrases. Man, we can just remember that, and then when we come to the glyphs, it get easier. Let me see, I have some homework open, right? I'm gonna go to the homework so we can see this in actual application. I'm just gonna open up a new one. So a bow right here, high roll, or itty and eerie, whatever this is. It's 3 pages long, but what we're gonna do is not even start reading. We're gonna start thinking the grammar. That's a good one. That's a good one. I do think it was spoken out loud because those type of particles they are parts of speech, right? And so just like Shesmu put yo, I mean, sometimes these things really work in those places, but you don't say yo when you're about to tell somebody that you think what follows the yo isn't always a statement of fact. I definitely think, just like he's like, bro, trust me, or facts. Yeah, I think it was definitely spoken. But let's see what this homework got for us. All right, so we're not gonna look at the answers yet. And we know we're reading from left to right because this is homework. Now, I should just skip past this. This is just saying in the regnal year, in the regnal year 24, right? Because this is a 10, and you see 4 under it. This represents the regnal year, but this ain't what we came to look for. It says under majesty, the majesty belonging to the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. His name is Khepera, but it say pet Khepera, which is crazy. Now look, Rim Pet Sep, I don't even know why they put Sep, But oh, did I say 20? 4? Dang, I can't count. What made me say this was 20? That's 10, dude. So that's an error. This is only 14. I said 24. Under majesty of the king. So it should say under the majesty of, the king, right? Now to get to the upper and lower Egypt part, that ain't even there. So check, look, they say upper and lower Egypt is really just this, the Nisu Biddy, and you see his name over here, Keperkara. I said Keperkara. Well, if it was any honorific transposition there, it probably would be, Keperkara, the spirit of Ra. So I was just going to come through this document and look for that particle. Now look at it. You just found it. So look, let me show you. So we went live to a document first, and then you'll find it on a real text and say, okay, I'm dealing with it. Now look, notice how we continue on the document, right? And what's the next thing on line 2? It's the particle we're learning about. This right here, you. See, let's go back to the J-sesh. You. Bow, now you got it right here. So that's telling us we at least got the knowledge from this understanding that we know that this sentence ends right here. And you is telling, but you're not going to see it parsed like this on the building or on the wall. It'll be all ran together. And it's only your knowledge now that you know this sentence is done, probably because of what you just read, and a new sentence is starting here. So we started to get in on this. Dang, I didn't want to do that, but I'm trying to make it. What I try to do for my own practice is read the sentence first, but I'm not going to do that because we're doing grammar. So remember when they said when it's a you, most often it is a verb after it? Well, I see a verb, but I see an in under that verb, an in preposition. So this first word, I'm going to say this is with him. You're probably going to see, because I'm getting my possibilities are limiting down, are being limited because we know the grammar after the you first entertain, just like Chris was extra teaching me the other day. He was going further telling me which verb classes to entertain first, second, and third. And we'll talk about that later. First, we're going to entertain the infinitive, which is the generic verb. Right? It's just, when I say generic, run, jump, hop, skip. And I presume this verb is to eat. So now I'm going to open up my dictionary. And just for all of our confirmations, I'm going to type in what I see on the screen. And this is the part that'll be harder for people to do. You kind of got to learn the glyphs before you could do this. So I'm going to put a W, a capital H, and an M. And we should see with him. You see with him. But here it says to repeat. I said to eat. It does mean to repeat. And I want to see why I chose to eat. So let me see. Let me see why I chose to eat. Repeat, right? So what is the word that's just, I gotta fix myself. What is the word that's just like with him that is to eat? Repeat. So let me see, watch this. Eat. I just have to see for my own knowledge. It is a version of with him for to eat. I know close to that much, but I have to see what's the difference. Maybe it's a lowercase h. So let me just find it. There's only 45 eat words. There we go. So here's what it is. This is where I made the mistake. Look, I said with him eat, and this with them eat. See the difference? And so I took that with him and got with him and with them. And this is why I have to do that every time in order to see where I'm making a mistake. So it wasn't with him to eat. It's not with, so this is with them to repeat. But So this is repeated, and then so now we got to look at this as, what if this is a subject NF? Because I'm gonna put this word in the dictionary, and let's see if it says something about. I don't want to guess. Watch this. If it says something about the repeat, it seems like it's talking about a repeated praise, but I got the answer on the screen, so I wouldn't want to mess that up for anybody. Look, it's right here. I was bestowed another favor of the king. So I don't know how this is to bestow, right? And this is favor. But I don't know, I can't get that. So I got to see how they're with him. If I put that in the, oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, I don't get that. I ain't getting that. I know if people read it, maybe you could read better than me, but I didn't see with him for to bestow. And sometimes I don't always agree if the repeat, do again, report. Repeat, do again, report. Y'all tell me if y'all see something different for with him. I'm making it bigger. Ask, right? Repeat, ditto. I don't know. It's a learning process. Let me see. Repeat. Man, what are they talking about? So a herald or a reporter, somebody who knows the glyphs, tell me what part I'm missing. Because right here, this, I was bestowed another favor. Man, they adding stuff in there, y'all. But whatever, everybody know how to say another. The word ain't in there. To say another, you say key, right? Here goes the word for favor. Under, of, by the king, right? So that's like to make great. Let's see what it say. And my heart was advanced more. So this to advance his heart. So was to make his heart great. So that's to advance his heart. That's cool. I'm just looking. So what we're reading here ain't necessarily right here. The translation is lagging behind. This is something about his father. So when we go to the right, we're going to learn something about his father and something about a form to hati, and another u. So we notice the end of the sentence. So just if all you was learning right now is what this you was doing, you see that now it's letting us know that this sentence is contained here. So when we scroll to the right, it should say something about my father. Oh, look, it says more than, it's going to say my father's, but then what's this kaparu? Occurrence, change, transform to my, something more than my father's. I gotta get this. Something about more than it occurred for his fathers the first time. I messed that up. More than the forefathers, yep, before me. See? More than it occurred for my fathers the first time, but he said more than the forefathers before me. Close enough. Because when it's right here, I'm like, something occurred. But he said occurred, I think. I mean, that didn't say more than the forefathers before me. This is, did it happen for? Did it happen for those, I mean, you know, more than, I don't know why the fathers was way over here. But anyway, we was just simply learning about the U particle. And you see here's another U particle here. So regardless of what's going on in the translation, we know a new sentence is starting right here. Now, I forgot this word. I thought it meant to seize. Let me go. A seal. Yeah, he put a seal. So I thought it meant to seize and mean to seal. So look, what is this after the U? Another verb in the Sejm NF, right? Well, let's see if they put Sejm NF. So let me show you. In the transliteration, you can see. Right? Because look, they put a U. There go the U. They didn't put Sejm NF. So they're saying this is a different verb form. It's called dative. Means something going to somebody. So they say His Majesty put a great seal on me. See what I'm saying? So, and here goes His Majesty. Okay. So, if you was to read it like from the front, if you go put this word, this tesh in, that'll probably be sealing something, but let's see. To secure. Right? So they say to seal. Right? To secure. If I make it right here. His Majesty put a great seal on me. They just saying it in the way they want to, because if you read it more literally, if this is secure, had secured to me, okay, yeah, that's right, His Majesty. Yeah, they right for saying that. Had secured to me, His Majesty. Chet. But they say Katim. So that's their seal, dog. Katim is a seal. So he's saying he has attached to me. They just saying this is to bind it to you. His Majesty had put a great seal on me. Dude, this is the seal, Katim. If you read that, XTM, right? Dang, I know I ain't that tripping. That's a seal. A lock or a seal, see? Katim. So that was the seal back here. That means, okay, cool. And now here's the great word, so that's the great seal. Anyway, and this is a preposition in, it's an M, but it means in. And we got Hes menu. So this is some type of a mineral, and we see Wob after that. Oh, I wasn't even looking at the transliteration, but it's right under it now. Look, Hes min, this is some type of a mineral, liquid mineral that you can be purified with. Let's see which mineral it is. Amethyst. See, I said purified with, but they said it was pure amethyst. And it's like, or it happened like it did for the ancestors. Sue? Like what? Just like any royal nobleman, not the ancestors. Like a royal nobleman. Okay. That's cool. Just being able to make your way through that is fun, but I don't want to get stuck up trying to read the text when we were just simply learning about this U particle. And we've seen more examples of it. Shout out to Asar M. Ka, and maybe I can open up the text and we can make this a workshop so y'all can help me along, right? So yeah, we did see that particle in action. Now we're just gonna skim through the glyphs, right? And we're gonna see if we can find it, because what we're gonna be doing is parsing sentences by doing that. Is what you don't know. That's not all of them, but the ones that start with U, like this. So why is it a U here? That's not the U particle, I don't think. So look, this is a whole nother word, but it looked like it is. We would have had to read this to find out that it actually wasn't that particle. It's a personal name, look. See? And when you come across personal names, sometimes you gotta figure out how to get that popping, because it'll be an anomaly in the text. I'm simply just looking for the particle we was talking about, then I'm gonna go back to reading about it. So that's the end of that. Adverbs and adverbial phrases relate details about the circumstances. They describe manner, means, cause, motive, quality, state, place, where, time, when, frequency, etc. In Egyptian, adverbs do not really modify the verb, but usually the entire clause. The uses of the Egyptian adverbs differ in many ways from the English adverbs, and they should be thought of as a distinct grammatical category. So now this is the box that helps you identify hella easy. And if we remember, he said we should dedicate this order to memory for the simple Egyptian sentence. Let me see if I can make this bigger. We got the particle you. That's telling us it's a new sentence starting. We got the verbal predicate here. It means speaks, the word jed. We got the subject. So this is a suffix pronoun. Suffix onto this verb. So you say jedes. But no, I apologize. That's not even jedes. This is jedsa. Jedsa, this is simply the subject, and that's just a man. Jedes would be she speaks. So yeah, I need some coffee or something. Jedsa, but they just put an S here. But we should know to say sa when we see that, to not confuse it with jedes. And the adverbals here, they got imper, which is in the house. Imper, that's just a simple Egyptian sentence. The man speaks in the house, right? Now they're still talking about the particle you. The particle you signals the beginning of the main clause of the new sentence. The verbal predicate related to the point relates the point the speaker is making. The subject of the verbal predicate, number 3, and number 4, additional information here, the prepositional phrase indicating place where. It will be learned later that the form of the verb that occurs in slot 2 is called the circumstantial form. And the circumstantial form of the verb functions as adverb. All right, cool. As adverbs, a large or extremely important, grammatical category in Egyptian that will be treated more fully at a later point. The sentence structure is therefore very similar to that of the nonverbal statement of fact to deal with in number 10, which has an adverbial phrase as the predicate. In traditional terms, the predicate is the is an information conveyed about the subject of the sentence. All right. Examples of the predicate in English sentences: the cat is on the chair. She jumped off the cart. Right? The movie was long, boring, and full of 60s cliches. All right. Right? It says, this construct is very much like English pretense. I don't want to get, I'm doing readership now because I just want to find a place to end to go to these lessons. But whatever. Such statements of facts are timeless statements, generalizations, repeated actions, or they refer to one-time actions. The construct is not like the English progressive tense action in the progressive, I am working on it right now. Her aunts were playing bridge in the alcove. Egyptian does, however, have a different construct that corresponds quite well to the English progressive tense. You can continue reading this. I want to go down to, and it's probably a lot more for people to see before looking at this exercise. But hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to inspire people towards the teaching. And so since I know this lesson already, I'm just going to get into it. It's for, now this, you can try this exercise too. It's going to be fun. Memorize the alphabetic signs in table 2. Learn the following words, practice writing them in both directions, vocabulary-wise. Transliterate them both, looking only at your transliterations. Write the words in hieroglyphs. But we ain't gonna go that far. We're just gonna learn some glyphs that we be seeing. So y'all can see this. Let me see how big it is. That's our U particle again. This particle is used to begin a statement of fact. Well, look at the different bird right here. If you see how the bird switched, it switched from a U bird to an M bird. A W, you see that W to an M? This is and it means there or therein. It's adverbal. So when you see that combination, it means there. And they're showing you the U is pronounced U. This is boo. It's like a foot and a chick bird. You know, a leg from the knee down and a chick bird. Boo, it's like a place. This is good for me too, because I'll be forgetting these. This is pin, and it means this. It's just a square shape with like the water ripples under it. We got purr, which is a house. Excuse me. Let me make it bigger. So this is purr. And it means a house. This is M, the preposition. This is why when we see M, we say in or inside. The M bird. This is in, the preposition, and this is the dative in. To like give or say to someone. To do something for someone. That's dative. Going to a person. So you see to me, for me. Feel me? That's the dative. Now we got an R preposition, to or towards. This is in the sense of space. To or towards a place or a thing, concerning, regarding, with relations to, at a location. You see that? That's what that might mean. So now you got Ra, and that's Ra, the deity, the nature. Ren means a name. R-N, Ren. Henna means with. With. Chet means things, but it doesn't say here. See, thing. This is feminine. They're saying it's feminine. Sa means man. Ki means other, right? It'll say it over here. Another. Another. Not other, but another. Chet means the same thing. This is masculine. This is masculine. This ki is a man, another man. Cat, another woman. Look, it's feminine. Ki and cat, the same thing. 10 is a feminine singular for this or that. Right? All right, cool. Now let's have some fun. Oh, still more words. Jed, you see the snake in the hand? That snake over the hand, it means to speak. To say to speak. Now here go the fun homework, the easy work. And I'm gonna snip these. I know people, I don't expect people. Let's see if I can write this hella quick. I gotta relearn how to use JSS. I'm gonna try to write this hella quick to make it hella big. So I need to go. It should be super simple. Right, hold on. So then I gotta put 2 reed leaves. Hold on. No, 2 reed leaves. Dude, why am I that boozy? 2 reed leaves. All right, so I'm gonna just put 2 reed leaves like this. I want one more. Okay, and now what I see. Hold on, so we can do the homework right. No, it's a K before the 2 reed leaves, and then the man saw. So put a K right here. Come back with them 2 reeds and then put an S over. Now this is where I'm gonna mess up. The Z right over the man. So I gotta put the Z over a A1. See, my over ain't working. So I got, I know why I go Z, put the whole code over A1. Dang, it still ain't working. I forgot how to work this. I'm gonna have to redo another something. Z, bro, you used to do this all the time. I ain't seen it. That's a group with that. There we go. Oh, I remember. All right, let's see. Let's go back because this is going to be good for our little study. Now, if you got the book open, and I can put a single stroke after that. Now, if you got the book open, so now that I remember how to do it, don't forget again. If you got the book open, you could probably reference the book and start to remember it. Thank you, Jamie. I wasn't looking. Now look, this is that simple sentence that we just seen after to get the definition. And it says, in ki sa. In could be, so y'all don't remember these words? So let's do it like this. For the first ones, we're going to show people how to help themselves. He just showed us all of them. So this we got it on the screen. I wish I could do it both on the screen. Let me see if I can put them both on the screen. Help me out now. Maybe I could go like this. Bow. Cool. Then I'll pull this over here. Right? And then take me off the screen just for Facebook. Hold on, let me get it together so that you can see everything on the same screen. Now there go the end. Now, right here, he's teaching us dative, right? So this is the lesson we're taking, right? Thank you, Shazmoo, but you didn't say it right. This end, you see the ends? Let me make this bigger. So if we understand dative, I'm trying to give you a shortcut. Think about a date. I know that don't work for everybody, but a date is to hook up with someone or it's for someone, right? So you're gonna remember, you see this in, you gotta think the dative, to give, to say to someone, to do something for someone, to go to another person, to go to a person or whatever. So we know that's the dative. To, we got that. Now I can move this over. Now we're dealing with this word key. Let's go look to see what he said for key. Since we know it's data, we're gonna go down and find the key. See if y'all can find the key. See, when you learn the glyphs, here go key. Now y'all don't remember key means another? Okay, so we identified the key right here. Come back, there go the key. So now we can read it. To another, what does the final word mean? Sa is the final word. Let's go look at the final word. Sa, man. So we just read a simple ancient Egyptian sentence, and it would probably not even start like this, but this is a study sentence. To another man. Shout out Immortal. Yep, you got it right. To another man, 100%. Now we're going to go back to the lessons and we're going to type up the second one. And I like doing these simple lessons. Don't ever be too smart. As much as I mess up, I always need to go freshen up, right? So it's not like you can't go back to the beginning of the book just because you know something. Now let's look at a different one. So that was the first one. Now the second one is going to be good to do. And I'm not going to type it up in order to make it faster. I'm going to do it a different way. I'll snip it. And I know when we do these shows, these is for the people who really want to know. So I don't have to really trip off catering to like new people or whatever. I mean, I love to do that, but what I really like to do is speak to the core audience who like this show, when we do the text. All right, so now we see the subject of scrutiny starting the sentence. This is a particle. We can all identify that. We got that knowledge. We know its function. What is its function? It has an expanded function, and I'm going to tell you. Later, you're going to learn it doesn't just start a sentence, and it's not just a statement of fact. It's not a tense word, but some sentences demand that you translate to you. Because think about this. In some sentences, when I'm trying to state that something is a fact to you, I'm simply going to say it is. If you think it ain't true, you're going to say it ain't. In order to say it is, sometimes they employ the you. What will happen is you'll see a F pronoun amended onto a you. And that will be a case where it would possibly be good to say he is. Right? But this is not the instance we're looking at right now. The instance we're looking at now now, what did they tell us to entertain first? After a you, most often a verb occurs. Now, if we can read this, it'll help us out. Because we read ra, right? And we pretty much know ra is not a verb, right? So we're going to say that this is not a verbal clause. We can identify that already. Because it's a man right here, and we know a man, this is a nature. A man is a part, it's not a man, it is an entity represented in anthropomorphized or whatever, right? This entity is Ra. So therefore, we can't think that this is a verbal clause. We already know it's probably a nominal clause. It's starting with a noun, right? So this is Ra. Now, if it's a noun, you can see two nouns run together, but you see an M after a noun, you automatically should default to the preposition first. Before you read this as a whole word, and that wouldn't be the proper method. But I would say, just like Chris was teaching me what to do with the verb order first entertain any M following a noun as a preposition. If you entertain it as a preposition, it might reveal what's happening. Because what do prepositions do? They connect nouns to other nouns. Do they connect them to verbs? Man, no, they connect nouns to nouns, right? So therefore, we already see, and if somebody stated this as a fact, that Ra, now we got an M bird. If this was a preposition, it would mean in, right? So that would be Ra in. Now this is the word. We could go back to the book to make it easy for people. Unless somebody want to write it. This word was in our last lesson. You don't remember this? This was in he sa to another man. So then when we see it right here, again, ki, it's still better say the same thing as the glyphs ain't translated. And it does. This is another. Now this last word was one of the first words in the lesson, and it's a word that we should probably try to familiarize ourselves with because it pops up with different meanings. So far, if you're reading the Meta Nature and you want to be trying to pseudo-impressive, you probably say, you, Ra, M, Ki, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You, Ra, M, Ki. Now we got, at the end, I'm going to go back to the book just to keep the method up for people. And what we'll do, what we're looking for in the book is these glyphs that I'm about to highlight. This foot and the uchik. Y'all remember what the word was? Who got the book open? That's why I said open the book. The book is J.E. Hoke. And then you could be faster in the chat. Right? And so look, and then we're going to go look up this word. If you want to look it up in the dictionary, you put a B and a W. But no, we're not going to do it like that because if we beginners, we wouldn't know that. We have to come back to the book. And for this lesson, we got to go over the words again and go look and see if we can find a foot and there you go. Boo. It's a place. All right. So I think we just read our second simple sentence and we getting our homework right. It's a statement of fact. Now, when you read this, you're not going to say it's a statement of fact. This is one where you can say is. This is an instance where you can say is for you. You can say Ra is in another place. See? Because you saying this is serving, every part of speech is serving its function. Feel me? How else is you going to state this as a fact? Besides telling me he is. So Ra is in another place, right? So let's go back to the book. So that's two of them. And if you want the answers, they're in the back of the book. But we all know the answers because we do these like once a year on my show. We'll go back to the beginning and start over. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this ain't the beginning, trust me. Everybody learning the gleefs need a teacher. And what you see on my YouTube show ain't adequate enough to let nobody know what they doing. But it's inspirational. That's what it's intended to be, hopefully. Right? Oh, I just got a whiff of firing up the grill today. Who else gonna fire up the grill today? I just got juice. So number 3, we're going to do number 3 real quick. Simple Egyptian sentences. Hold on, I got to take that blue stuff off of there. I got to take this off. Simple sentences. Your elementary, this is the beginning of the book. I think this is like his first lessons. And if you see that you got somebody like me to help, this stuff will get super easy. So now you already see, parse it for yourself. I need the chat to start parsing this, right? Word up, community. The book we're working out of is Middle Egyptian by J.E. Hoke, or Hotch, right? H-O-C-H. You can type that right in your Google browser and then click the PDF and be able to follow along, or you can just follow just chilling how we do. Now, the particle of scrutiny, I keep saying that we been tripping off today is what? You. We tripping off what it do in all these different sentences. We just found the sentence where it was adequate to say is for you. And trust me, you will come across that a lot of the times. Let's see if this is a spoken you or if this just gonna crack. So now what's next? Yep, since Immortal already transliterated this one, I'm gonna do the English for y'all. So he put you, and then we can see the next. Now, I always put it in these boxes to teach people something called group writing. And if you notice, quite often, a lot of these words that do fit into these squares like this, when you look at a real text, it might fall like that too. Like I could open up a straight stele and color in the words just like this, and you'll see they're in these little squares like this. To learn about that, you learn about group writing in any ancient Egyptology book. Now, right here, this is just a skinnier column. Oops, excuse me. This third word is going to be in the skinnier box, but it's still the third word. It goes to right here, right? And shout out to people who contribute to this channel and be keeping it popping, who click like, who put out the notifications, and all that good stuff. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna put the last word in blue. Now, each one of these words, we only encountered them when I was reading you the words. So let's talk about the grammar to fill people in. How you decode this with the grammar? Well, you first know that this is a particle. This first green box is the U particle, starting off a new sentence, which is perceived to be a statement of fact. And if mandatory, you can translate this as is. Let's see if that is cracking. Now this say cat. Do y'all remember cat? Cat is the feminine. Key. Key is masculine. See, when I pop this back on this, it say key. That's because they're talking about a man, another man. So I already know if it say cat, something's feminine here, and it says, so this is another. This is still another. Now this isn't a man. Look, this is hecka funny. Because it says cat, cat. Cat, cat. And I guess one of the K's was probably pronounced harder, this one. But cat, cat. So it says, you cat, cat, Now this, I'm going to take us back to the book just so people could deal with it. Look at this green and see if you can identify it when we're looking at the words. It got that circle and then it got the T. There you go. Cat. See, that's feminine. And it means a thing. So that's why when we see this other word, key, cat, this other cat word, and it means another. Now this is a statement of fact, so it says another thing there. Now would you say there is another thing? I wouldn't say that. Hold on. Yeah. Let me see. Oh yeah, so no, I wouldn't say another thing is there. I would say another thing's there. Another thing there. There, I wouldn't say there's another thing. I wouldn't say there is another thing. But that might be right. Now this isn't there is another thing because this could mean there is. Another thing there is. So that might be right. But in order to do it all the way to get my homework right, I would just put another thing there. But watch when we go to this word, it might say there is. And if it says there is, we can say there is another thing. So remember what we're looking for? When you're doing the glyphs, you're going to have to get used to a part of expanding your symbol literacy is getting used to seeing new shapes, right? And attaching meaning to shapes that you're not familiar with, right? It's a practice, but let me see the word again. I'm tripping. Oh, it's I'm tripping. So it should probably be higher up. There it go. So they say there, but look, they say therein, therewith, therefrom. They don't say there is. So if it's therein, or therewith, or therefrom, it's another thing is there. Not there is another thing. See? Another thing is at this location. So I should make this bigger. I thought it was bigger, my bad. So another thing is there. All right, we on the lesson number 3, and this is pretty cool. I like this. Right, so let's go see what it do. Let's go see what it do. Last night we was having crazy fun. It was too funny. But then I don't be liking being goofy all the time. I might just be on one and might be just having fun like I went out on a Saturday night or something. But then I gotta get back to my studies the next morning just to keep it real with myself. Let me see. Oh, so this is a longer one. This should be fun. Right? And let's take it step by step. If you know how to transliterate it, turn this into a different challenge for yourself. And don't put the transliteration in the chat. Put the grammar. Again, if you know how to transliterate and read this, and I know it's not a challenge for you, put the grammar up. That'll be more of a challenge. And what I mean by that, I'll show y'all. This is what I mean do. Before I tell you anything, I'm going to say the grammar. And then we can translate it. We got a particle, you, right? And so we see we got a nominal sentence, or a noun. I wouldn't say, some people say adverb, but adverbs are noun. This is a noun starting this sentence. Ra, again. Now what we find after nouns, either you might find a modifier, which would be an adverb, a preposition, you know. You could find another noun after a noun. Probably won't be a verb directly after a noun. Not in the meta. That's just too much, not too much. Right? So what we're going to entertain after this is a preposition. Because the first thing I entertain after a noun, well, not all the time, but in these simple sentences, it is a preposition here. And this word right here means with. So if we already know that this is a fact that Ra is with, who is Ra with? Let's go see. We remember this from the earlier teaching. This is a man. This is the word sa, right? Some might say za, sa, za, whatever. It means a man. Now, strangely enough, I want to call this a preposition, but I can't call it a preposition. So what is it? It's not a preposition. It's not in the preposition. Do y'all know the grammar for this? Let's see who can answer the question right. What is this right here? I can tell you what it is. It is actually what I just said. It's the word this. What part of speech is the word this? So the way I remember it is, if you say this or that, you're trying to demonstrate something. So that means, like you say, this car, you're trying to show somebody, not really demonstrate, but in order to sense the grammar, you're going to remember that it's demonstrative. It's demonstrative. Yep, the D adjective. Thank you. He said it correct. He said it's a D adjective. It's a demonstrative adjective, right? So it's describing something. Or you call it demonstrating or describing something. So what is this describing? This man, the man that's in front of him. But with these demonstratives, sometimes they will fall behind what they're demonstrating. It's demonstrating that. So that's mean that this says Ra is with this man. That's a cool one. Now you wonder, why am I hopping around words like that? Well, let me read the literal. Is Ra. So remember, this is a statement of fact. So if I read the literal, it'll be pondered as a question. Is Ra with man this? That's not what they were saying. They were saying it's a statement of fact that Ra with this man. So in order to stop saying it's a statement of fact that, you just say Ra is with this man. Right? For instance, even though you see man this, when you speak Spanish and you say beautiful woman in Spanish and you know how the pronouns are switched around, You don't start saying in English, woman beautiful. You just switch them around to match your language. And so that's what we're doing a case of right there. This has been a 1 hour, 10-minute video. I'm going to go through probably the next 3. Then I might want to go bowling or something, man. Get out this house. Let me see. I've been getting my bowling game up. Trying to start some stuff that's mature. Some things me and my friends could do that's at our age. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about a bowling league. Start this bowling league. But here's another thing I just thought of, y'all. And I know people are going to be cheating. Because me and my homie been looking for where to do the bowling league at. And we've been trying to make sure everybody don't have to commute too far. And guess what idea I came up with? But I'm not going to say, I still want to get with my homies and socialize for that bowling league. So maybe we could do once a week or something. But guess what idea just popped up? So I've been squeezing these. I'm not going to keep hopping all around. But I bought these, right? And when I first bought them, I couldn't even squeeze the 50, bro, all the way. Right? You try it. Go get some of these that go up to 250 pounds. And they just help on your grip. I'm going to finish the story I was telling in a minute. But I'm up to like 150 pounds right now. And I'm trying to conquer this pack. Once I get to 250 pounds, grip strength, that's going to be cool. Then I want to see how long I can hold the 250 pounds close with each hand. And it's just like doing hanging. Well, because if you go hang, right, your grip strength is your weight, is the weight of your body divided by each arm. I don't weigh 500. So if I can hold like the 250s closed for like 20 seconds, oh, it's going to be going down. All right, so let me get back to the meta-netter. Oh, bowling? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I was talking about the bowling league. This is what I thought of. Check it out. You can start an online bowling league that's like FaceTime and stuff. Or you don't even have to let it be FaceTime. Y'all can just make sure people put their timestamp on their pictures, right? And at the end of the night, at the certain time, after everybody go to their own local bowling alley at a certain time, and take a picture of their winnings. Then y'all add it up in the group chat, just having fun. And you can do it internationally all over the world, having fun with hella people. In a chat where y'all on Friday, y'all do this and share y'all scores in the chat. You know people be trying to cheat. People be having AI scores and everything. But that's why I was getting my stepping my bowling game up. All right, this is an easy one, right? So did we just do this one? No, we didn't. And this isn't for me, this is for y'all, so I'm not gonna mess it all up. I think everybody watching this show had a relatively mediocre lesson on this U particle. It's almost a good lesson. I don't want to say it was mediocre, but what I mean is there's more to this particle, and don't think you know it all the way yet. This is why I'd encourage you to finish reading the books and to learn more about it. Then you can come teach me and say, no, do you also do this? But right now we got that down pat. We know what its function is, and it ain't in this lesson, it hasn't betrayed us. It lets us know that whatever's following it is a statement of fact. And sometimes we can employ it as it is. So now, remember, the book told us the first category you should try to employ after the you is a verb. Even if you don't know the word, look and see, is it a verb? And it just so happens that in this instance, it is a verb. The reason why you want to entertain that, because it's the most often thing that pops up behind the U particle, right? He started us off with 2 nouns, but now he switched to a verb. So I know the people who know what this verb is, it means to speak. The word is jed, right? D-J-E-D, Jed. The Black Raven. Shout out to the Black Raven with the contribution to the channel. It's always appreciated. And so this word right here, you see that man, right? So you pretty much don't even have to trip. You already know that this word is about a man. It's sa. Just one letter, sa. So far we got you, Jed, sa. If Jed means to speak, and this is a man, and this is a statement of fact, you might want to see if you're going to say is or not. But first, let's say speak, because it's a verb. So you might want to gerund it. But there are certain verb cases. When I say gerund, I'm not trying to sound different. Gerund is ing, bro. Okay? So if you have an infinitive verb, which is just generic, I try to say shit so it sounds simple so everybody understands it. So when somebody say the infinitive or whatever, you might get lost and think they talking some words you don't know. It simply means the simplest state of the verb. So think of a verb like running, an action word. Well, let's take the one we have on the screen, speak. That's an action word. Now this is, we gotta know that this one, the way, because it ends in this D, it's not going to change on the screen when it's being gerund or when it has an ing on it. So speaking could be, right? It could be entertained here. You're going to see if that works. And I already see it probably ain't going to work. But let me see. So this is speaks, man. Now remember, this in this lesson is dative. Think of going on a date or something in a direction to someone. So then we got speaks, man, to, and what was our last word that we've been worked out? Again, shout out to the Black Raven for the contribution. Much appreciated. Our last word is key. Now, a good shortcut for if you like my show and you want to step your game up, then and to follow these lessons, then just learn the phonetic glyphs. Learn how to sound out. Like, learn when you see this, what sound it makes. And then when you come here, even if you don't know, because I don't know all the words, we look in dictionaries, right? And even if you don't know all the words, you will have a point of reference, right? Oh, hold on, I want to take this chat box off. I was tripping. So I guess this is, let's go back to the you particle then. Is it man is speaking to another? See? But you could just say man speaks to another. And don't gerund it, and you don't want to mess that up. Man speaks to another. Don't say man is speaking. Man speaks to another. You probably say the man speaks to another. Are we on number 6? And then we're going to see what it does. Now, when you start this out, it might look like the same. I know one thing, it ain't looking like as much scribble scrabble to people, even if you remember when it just looked like nothing could be made of this to you. And now you can make out certain things. And if we keep on, all right, we're going to play the grammar. So point out, anybody in the chat, point out the particles and prepositions, only the particles and the prepositions in the sentence that we see on the screen. You can transliterate them, put them in the chat. Speaks is present. It wouldn't be spoke. Because they would have put, in order to indicate that tense that it occurred already, they would put an N under it. We would get Sejm NF form. It would have been a different verb form. So whenever they want us to know that the event already transpired, they change the verb class. And that class will be Sejm NF. Well, he has heard, or in that instance, it will be he has spoken. You feel me? So we always entertain it in the present tense until we get an indication not to. Because Egyptians don't really do tense like that. They do aspect. And that aspect is something that already occurred. So anybody can point out the particles and prepositions on the screen? Come on, man, that's the simplest thing, and we've been doing it all day. Well, it ain't the simplest thing. But you could deduce from some of these words you've seen on the screen already. Somebody should have put you as the first particle, because this is all we've been talking about all day. Let me see. Okay, that Sejm NF lesson, we're gonna work that out maybe in the next video. There's some whole documents just on Sejm NF. And when you absorb that and when you get it down packed, it helps your reading hella much. And Hoke has a section on it too. Now, that's that particle. What about the prepositions? How many prepositions you see? I only see one, right here. So we just identifying parts of speech first. Where do we see a demonstrative pronoun, not a demonstrative adjective? This, well, yeah, that might be a demonstrative adjective. This, we see it at the end. So now we got all of those parts of speech identified. We already understand that this sentence started with a verb. It's the verb jed, to speak, right? And it's a fact that the speaking is happening. So this is to speak, right? And then what's next? See, this simplify it with the colors and everything. This is Ra. Remember Ra, the Netcher? They call him the sun god. That's what Egyptology calls him. Well, this is Ra right here. So now we got another word, which is a noun. So we identify all the parts of speech. I don't know why I put it in that color. Put it in yellow like the other noun. All right. So I should have put that verb in its own color up there too. This one, but forget it. So now we got all them parts of speech identified. See how easy it is? Well, he says Ra speaks for this. Let's see if that's right. Well, we got the statement of fact particle. We got speaks. We got Ra. So notice we don't really find verbs after nouns that much, but you find nouns after verbs. It's telling you who's doing the action. So speaks Ra, so that means Ra speaks. This is I don't want to say it's data. This is with regards to. This is with regards to. Concerning, this is the word It's with regards to or concerning. The demonstrative is this. No, this isn't the two. Yeah, but watch how it makes sense as two, and you're gonna see what I mean. Check out what this means. This says Ra speaks to this thing. But when you speak to something, he's not saying he speaks to it like he's actually talking to the thing. I'm thinking it's saying Ra speaks concerning, with regards to this thing. He's not speaking to the thing. If you understand, if you take and you put it in the dictionary, just an R, say with regards to, it'll come out with regards to. So I would translate that in this as concerning. It means concerning. So Ra speaks, and it's not Ra is speaking. This is Ra speaks concerning this thing. Right? Now we're going to do the last simple one. Then I'm going to go see what the wife's trying to do. Let me see. Seems like we did this one already. See, the more and more he's using the same words over and over for you. So even if you have not read this sentence, by the time you get to number 7, each one of these words we've went through them in a lesson. So even if this is only your first day looking at the glyphs, you could use your brain and read the sentence. I'm not demanding too much of you because I know what we've talked about today. We talked about every word on the screen, but this is a different sentence, right? And in order to have some energy to come back with a stream, maybe on a late night, I'm gonna end it after this one. And so we're gonna do grammar first. No, this ain't a repeat. He scrambled up. He's using the same words, but he's making different sentences. It's for us to learn how things can be different. And so we're gonna do the grammar first. I always do the grammar first. But what start happening is you look at a sentence and you could do the grammar in like a second before you start reading. You just look and you see all the grammar parts of speech. Now let me show y'all something. If you come to a scholastic document like this, let me see. I ain't got one open. Yeah, like this, right? You'll notice this isn't one, they're not taking the effort to show you any grammar here. But if I backtrack, right, and if I go back again, you can read which ones some of these will show you the grammar. And those are the best beginning ones to start on. Let me show you. So these texts come from St. Andrew's text corpus. They're all beginner texts to help anybody who want to aspire to reading the glyphs have a little format to doing so. It's also the text they use in their Egyptology classes. But I'm trying to see if I can find one with the parts of speech on it. And it really makes it good. But they'll tell you what's the determinative, what's a phonogram, what's an ideogram, what's a logogram, and people don't know the difference. And so those all, let me see if it's on the Iberian papyrus, maybe. Dang, well, next time I find one with all of the notation on it, I'll note that. Oh, I think the Westcar papyrus got that. Let me try the Westcar papyrus. Nope, it don't either. Oh, yes, it do. So look, it has the orthography. So this is really useful, and this text is really useful to learn from. And it's showing you, this is a phonogram. It got a sound. Phonogram, it got a sound. Phonogram, right? But this is a determinative. It is not to be spoken out loud. It's showing you when you see the glyphs. So it's hecka helpful. And then it'll link it to its transliteration, right? So you can come, they all ain't gonna be phonograms, and this is something people need to learn right here. Some of them gonna say log. See, that's log. What is log? Log is a logogram. A logogram represents an entire word. So if you're reading this and you come right to this, that's the whole word for this right here. Why? Because it's not being spelled out phonetically like the word before it, hairy. It's just a logogram. So if I drew an airplane in here and you got to that and you would say airplane, that's because the image I drew of the airplane is serving as a logogram, not for the phonetic values of it. All right. That was cool. And I'll be back later, man. Oh, then we never did this one. So the grammar to this is like this. You particle again, right? Then you got the verb, just like the last sentence, to speak. But it's not Ross speaking this time. It is another noun. Oh, it's a noun. It's the man speaking. So it says man speaks, right? This is a preposition, M, which means in. So the man speaks in, oops, different color, sorry. The man speaks in. So to say this, I'll say the metanometer later. Place, this word is for place, remember boo? Place, and then we got this. So just like some of the other sentences, but now we got the man speaking in this place. It says, a man, or it don't say this man, so if you want to add the definite article a, that's fine. A man speaks in this place. That's what it looked like to me, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how we cooking today, man. Check it out. Somebody else started talking crazy. Think that's a good end of this show. I want to thank y'all for tapping in. Man, what they talking about? I'll pick up the camera and show y'all, man. Look, this is what we have to deal with because they have a care provider house next door. Hold on, she gone? All outside the house, they just be standing right here, right? Smoking, drinking, because they don't want to smoke in front of the care provider house. That'd be crazy, bro. All right, I'm gone. Peace to y'all. Have a good evening. And shout out to y'all. Peace. Look, I'm still dealing with it. You'll just stay there all day talking like they be doing. Peace, peace.